think it's like
And so you can talk to Heather or to me, because she'll be the one that who's going that day. So I don't care, but if you wanna go, we'll take you.
Do you get voluntold?
She always gets voluntold.
Right, I brought her some. I
Well,
volunteered.
I am doing it.
So, just trying to make that fair for everyone, so if you're interested. March 29th is our Easter egg hunt here. Bring your kiddos, bring your grandkiddos. If you want to help, let us know. We're doing another 500 eggs in addition to our 1,100 from last year.
Yeah.
So,
1,600 this year. 11 wasn't enough.
so, huh?
Easter Bunny, we've already got our name in the Easter Bunny.
Well, the Easter Bunny always comes. So just
Okay.
put that on your calendars. Wheelchairs are dirty, 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 dirty. We need to make sure we are doing those at night. Or when you're getting somebody out of the wheelchair, if you see something, just wipe it down. Couple different people have come to me this week saying our wheelchairs are dirty. So please make sure you're wiping those down at night, or when you get them out. If you see they're dirty, wipe them down. Just a friendly reminder.
You don't get done every day. What is it? It's only the death.
It's supposed to be done every night. There's, a book on, the dailies and certain ones during the week is supposed to get done, but it's just easier if you're down that long, just to get them all done.
So do they take them, you know?
I do mine when I'm here. That's all I'm gonna say. I do mine when I'm here. She works 3 nights. I work 3 nights a week. There's 3 senior days. I get mine done on my wall. I think Rex is a big one. Rex is one of them, so.
Yeah.
That's the other problem. I told the other senior days, they gotta make sure they do Rex. They gotta make sure your minds are, their chairs and their ready to take them out and move them back in the room, especially if it's not. That wheelchairs, your beds, you know, move around.
So just a reminder to make sure those are getting done, or if you have extra time during the day or during your shift, you want to wipe down some wheelchairs by all means.
Maybe a simple little thing.
She's done it before.
I tried to. Yeah.
Speaking of, for dietary or anyway, everybody, if room trade, if you guys are well staffed and you recognize that maybe the CNAs are really busy, lots of call lights on, running around, whatever it may be, feel free to pass room trays. That's helpful to them. I mean, I know at times there's like 4 people in the kitchen, so somebody could run and do room trays if the CNAs, like today, I think we had 6 call lights on and they were running around, so that can be helpful.
I was told that we're not supposed to go to the rooms, but they'd all be picking them up. So.
I don't have a problem with it. There's no problem passing room trays.
What about picking?
If you pick them up, you just have to make sure they get down. Yep. Pot machine is getting changed in the next day or 2. They have increased our prices, which then means we increase your prices. We just aren't, so what we do with that profit is, I buy the pop out of there, and then the profit I use for prizes, for pizza, for things, extra things that we do for everyone. So right now we're really just not having any of that money extra. So we're going from $1.50 to $2. Just think you don't have to mess with quarters. So, but just a heads up to everybody, they're supposed to be coming today or tomorrow.
Today, yesterday or today, but you'll know it's changed because I'll put this on the video. So until this is on the machine, it's still $1.50.
Yep.
Okay. We're also looking into having, we have one free spot, because I'm not getting energy drinks anymore. They just didn't sell. So we're thinking about putting, I've had no luck finding 20-ounce Dr. Peppers, which is what I'd like to put in there. We might put one in there.
What a shame. Orange juice is second best, I guess. Unless you guys have another suggestion of something you.
Nobody knows where to find 20-ounce stuff.
Pepsi will not sell them to us because it's not allowed in our area for them to sell them to us. Iced tea?
Iced tea?
I think it.
How much, how many people drink iced tea? In this room? No, not Long Island.
Either or, hot and cold, it don't matter.
Twisted tea, that's.
No, that's the Arnold Palmer, I guess you call it. Arnold Palmer, lemon, peach tea, all that stuff. You're good. You want to add some.
You can find 20-ounce Dr. Pepper, there's no question that's what's going on.
What about,
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's lots of calories. Lemonade is.
What?
It has lots of calories. This one is spicy.
Okay, so we'll work on getting something in there, something else in there.
How about water?
Fair.
You're willing to spend $2 on water.
So Caleb was here yesterday and I had an interesting observation come from him, if you will. You know, he is very particular on where things are, how they're presented, you know, looking professional, which we all should be, but he's sometimes hyper focused on things that I don't see. He has a way of spotting things that I don't. So one of the observations was the key on the door to the service hall, which hopefully is going to get fixed soon. But it was just on the door and it said use the key, which I didn't think much of it. But he said, you know, that's pretty obvious. People that a resident could do that and open the door. But he said, you know, I had 5 people stop me and say, yeah, we thought that was kind of dumb, but he's like, that is things that you guys can bring to me and maybe I can fix it, maybe I can't. But if you see something and you're like, hey, is that legit? Please, please, please bring it to me. I will fix it if I can. Some things take longer than not, but I can't see everything all the time. So just always feel free to bring that stuff to me. Even if you're questioning like, hey, what's the regulation on this? Or, hey, it might be easier if, you know, then Robin came and said, hey, that's a really long reach to get the key to the door and the key back to the board. So we moved it again. But just anything like that. He then moved the dusty picture frame from one side to, I was supposed to get seen a lot of crap today because the picture frames were dusty. But just those things, if you see them, let me know, or let somebody, you know, Mel or Heather or Mary Jo or somebody know, and we can talk about it. Okay. Like I had 5 people question in their brains. So just bring that to me. Okay. Anybody have anything else before I get started with HR? Okay. Maybe. All right, we're doing HR review. I'm just going to overview kind of what our HR department is, what we do, when we have to do it. Nothing, no big changes or anything we've made, just a nice friendly review. Okay. Background checks. They are completed upon hire, before hire, actually. You guys must provide written notification if you guys have a conviction. Any criminal conviction or founded dependent adult abuse within 48 hours, you have to let me know. That's not traffic tickets. Those are serious misdemeanors, aggravated misdemeanors, and felonies. So I would hope you would maybe let me know before you actually get convicted of something, just so we have a heads up, but that is a requirement that you let us know within 48 hours of conviction. Doesn't mean that you're gonna lose your job, it just means we have to redo your background check, depending on what it is, whether the state will approve it or not. But that's something that is your responsibility to let me know, so I don't hear it through the grapevine. Small town Tama. Okay. Employee physicals, they are done. This did change a little bit this year. They're done prior to hire. Now, to help get people hired faster, the state has allowed an RN to do kind of a quick physical on a staff member. Because, I mean, we've waited weeks before somebody can actually get into the doctor to get a physical. So that can be a temporary kind of bridge between hiring and getting into the actual doctor, okay? Then they're done every 4 years after that, and they're paid for by Sunny Health, okay? Personal information, if you have any changes in name, address, phone number, email address, please let Tasha or I know. It's important to keep those updated for numerous reasons, for pay stubs, for W-2s, for mailings, whatever it may be. So if you have any of those changes, please let us know. Hi. I haven't put you to sleep yet. And also any status changes from part-time to full-time, full-time to PRN, whatever it may be. Make sure we're getting those in writing. We need those in writing. Tasha and I are decent, but we can't remember every single thing that you tell us. Same with like vacation and PTO slips. If you want any of that, please write it out for us on a form. People have told me in passing, and I'll be honest, I forgot about it. And so it's just good practice. Put it in writing, put it in one of our boxes after your supervisor signs off on it. Okay. Professional licensure, that is mainly for nurses and CNAs. You have to keep current with that. The CNA, as long as you're working in a facility, you stay current. You guys don't have to go in and like nurses have to go renew their license, and I have to renew my license. CNAs, you don't have to do that as long as you're on our registry at Prompt Me. I think it's every 2 years. But I just have to verify you're still working for us, and then you're still good. Nurses, you guys know when you have to renew every 2 years. And I renew every odd year, end of every odd year. But any disciplinary action brought against you, whether it's here or outside of here, I need to know, you know, if you were reported to the Board of Nursing, or anything like that, please let me know. Us know. Mandatory reporting goes with our dependent adult abuse. State, DIA, CMS is cracking down on abuse. Caleb incident, they met with the association, which is our new healthcare association, which gives us guidance. And they said, guys, this abuse stuff is not going away until, to be honest, the administration changes. That's just where CMS is. So a facility had a resident who was breaking glass vases on tables and then like playing in the glass, and it was cutting their hands. So a staff member pulled up resident away from the table, and somebody else held the hand so she couldn't play in it anymore. And they did not report that to DIA as abuse, and they got an IJ for not reporting.
How was that abuse? What?
So they're probably a restraint kind of thing, or they don't have an answer to tell us what you do in that situation when somebody's harming themselves. They would probably, in my weird thinking, I would say maybe they just pull them away from the table and don't touch their wrists, but probably because they just held on to their wrists to get them out of the area. And that was, they got a failure to report, and that was 9J. So just be careful, just anything we gotta look at. Okay, we started a new program after state left, and it is kind of a deeper dig. A deeper dig into incidents we have, and not your everyday skin tear, but if it's a skin tear that needs sutures, we're gonna do a bigger investigation to it. Libby fell this week and had a fracture. It's not reportable because she was independent and have all that documentation, but we did it just because they were being so difficult, right? With some of the things they were really digging into, with a fall we had in November when they were here, we're just saying anything with any type of injury, or just do a full investigation, because you just don't know how they're gonna handle that right now. Okay. Speaking of survey's done, obviously. Great job to everyone. Everybody, they were very complimentary of every single staff member and every resident. They said, you know, it's refreshing as surveyors to come into a building where their residents are happy. And she said, you know, I've never been in a building where they did not complain about the food. It may be something they don't like, but it wasn't enough to say because it's the bad cooking. I'm not a huge pork fan. So if you serve me pork, I'll be like, it's all right. So more stuff like that than, you know, the food's disgusting. But compliments to the food, compliments to how our residents looked. They were all over this place in numerous rooms, and everybody was happy. So enough that they didn't even do a resident count, which they do every year. So thank you guys. I know it's stressful. I have not got the final report from them, which it makes me hopeful that they're maybe not going to write all the tags they said they were gonna write. They potentially up to 5 tags. So, but hopefully we'll get that soon so we can figure that out. But huge compliments to you guys. It's a little disheartening that they praise us so much, but then rip us apart. But you know, at least I can say they said our residents are happy, our staff's happy for the most part, you know. So I'm leaning on not leaning on us having a date wrong on a piece of paper or you know, other little things. So things that we don't agree on should be tags. I'm focused on our residents are happy, our staff's happy. They were just shocked by how much staff we had here. They said, you normally have this much staff? I said, yeah, this is, you know, other than like Joy and Caleb being here, other than that, this is what we have. They actually pulled 6 weeks of nursing schedules. I don't know if they didn't believe me or what, but they pulled 6 weeks, and I'm like, there you go. So thank you guys for everything. Much appreciated. Anything else to add on the survey? Just our Fair Labor Standard Act full-time. If you work an average of more than 30 hours, you are considered full-time. Part-time is if you work a regular schedule, like I work every Tuesday and Thursday night and every other weekend, or I work Monday, Wednesdays, Saturdays, or whatever it may be. You work a regular schedule. PRN is just as needed. Okay. Overtime is over 40 hours. Full-time is over 30 hours. Overtime is over 40 hours, and that's time and a half. Employee performance reviews are yearly. Sometimes we get behind on those, please remind us. We try to get those done as quickly as possible. But we all need reminders. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I am.
If not, you continue, Shaq.
I'll come back to dress code. Harassment policy. This should be a safe work environment. If you feel like there's any harassment going on, whether it's from a staff member, a family member, a resident, please report that to us and we can do an investigation. That includes sexual, verbal, nonverbal, and physical. So that's pretty broad, but if you ever feel like there's anything that is being done that it should be as far as harassment, please come to one of us. If you're not comfortable with me or your supervisor, then
Yeah.
you guys should know by now that Joy and Caleb's phone numbers are posted.
I hope my daughter will like it. You never really know.
No, those numbers are always available. If you're not comfortable.
Yeah.
Not comfortable coming to me or your department. Okay. Dress code. We'll talk a little about dress code. I want us to be thinking
Do you have a postcard for that?
some dress
No.
codes aren't negotiable, like as far as
No.
CNAs, you want to wear scrubs, that kind of thing. But
No,
I
thank
want to
you.
look a little bit more at other departments if we feel like our dress code is appropriate for what we're doing. You know, in the kitchen, we used to have black pants and a white shirt. Do we want to go back to that? Does that look more professional?
She's almost 18.
Hi, Jeannie.
18 years old, so yeah.
You know, kitchen, I think we need to get a little more standardized as to what we're wearing. Do we want to go back to everyone has to wear scrubs? Do we want to go back to black and white? Housekeeping, are you guys comfortable in scrubs? Just be thinking of some of that. We talked yesterday about, you know, how we're presenting ourselves to our people says a lot about ourselves. If we're, gosh dang it.
Or high.
No. If we're not presenting ourselves as well put together, clean, what does that look like to our community, to our residents? Just feeling like we're a little inconsistent with some of our dress code stuff. Okay, so be thinking about that. We'll be revisiting that down the road. Name tag, always have your name tag on. Hair should always be not greasy and clean and looking professional as well. Okay. Anything on that? HIPAA. Friendly reminder of our HIPAA rules here. It's the Health Insurance Report Ability and Accountability Act of 1996. So that means anything that is done with our residents is in their medical record is protected by the law, by privacy. Only people that it's a need to know. You know, does dietary need to know what Joe Smith's transfer status is? Nope, they don't. Does CNAs need to know, it's a good example there, what procedure they had done last week? I mean, maybe if it's going to affect how they're transferred, but as far as, you know, stay in your lane, stay where you're at. Mary Jo doesn't need to know that John Smith had a large bowel movement today, right? She doesn't need to know all of that.
Maybe she needs to know.
Doesn't need to know. It's a need to know basis. I don't need to know that John Smith had a bowel movement today. Only reason I would need to know is if there's an issue. Okay, so just remember that. Email, phones, remember privacy with that. No taking of pictures in this building, unless there's permission given. I'll tell the story 100 times that a CNA got in trouble because she took a selfie in the bathroom and could tell she was at work. Okay, so they could tell that she was on the clock at work, and so she got in trouble for privacy. She took a picture in the building. Just don't do it. Don't do it, don't do it. Anything posted on our Facebook has permission. Permission has been given by the family. You know, Mary Jo has permission to take pictures of activities. They always get sent to me. I always look them over before I post them. There are pictures I don't post because they may not, you know, the resident may not look the best, or I had a family once call me because we had posted a picture and her mom was in the background and just didn't look, it wasn't a great picture of her. So she was upset about that. So I do look over everything that's posted, but for you guys, please, no Snapchat, no Facebook, no Instagram, no whatever the newest, latest app is, just don't do it. Okay. Personal conduct and work rules. I think we hold a pretty high standard here as to our personal conduct. One thing I have heard a little bit lately is talking about our personal lives in front of residents. Our residents should not know anything about our personal lives. I mean, I know there's times when you're like, hey, it's my son's birthday, but when I'm hearing they know things about other residents, or they know things that maybe are a little too personal to share, that just makes you a little bit wary. So please watch what you're talking about in front of residents. When you're with a resident, you should be focused on that resident. So if you're talking about the party you went to last Friday night and how there was this hot guy there, and then they come and say, did you know that Joe saw this hot guy at a party? You don't need to know that, right? So just remember how we're talking in front of our residents. Okay. Usually the way that discipline goes is from a coaching, written warning, suspension, possibly probation, and termination. Usually, Iowa is a employment at will state, so we can terminate anybody for what we feel is deemed appropriate. We prefer to go through a process because we want to give you guys the chance to get better, but that doesn't mean that something happens and we're like, yeah, we can't keep you employed here. Okay. Payroll. Obviously we all know that we changed our clocking system a little bit, just where it's at. Is that working out well? Yeah, the iPad on the wall, I think it frees up the hallway, makes it a little bit clearer. Again, one of Caleb's ideas. So that changed a little bit. Please make sure you're clocking in and out as much as you can. If you need your login information, let Tasha or I know. We'll let you know what that is. Paid every other Friday. We got paid this last Friday. There is a schedule of pay dates outside the nurse's office. They'll show you when our pay dates are. Payroll goes in by noon on the Monday before payday. So you have PTO, vacation, anything like that, miss the time, miss the punch, whatever, that needs to be done by Monday at noon. Direct deposit, the more direct deposits, the better. Less paper we have to deal with. So garnishments, we have to let the state know when we hire someone. They then proceed to let us know if we need to garnish wages. That's like child support. Child support's the biggest one. Then we went through termination a little bit. Attendance policy, always one of contention, right? Reviewing call-in procedure. Common procedure, an excused absence is only if you find your own replacement. Call in 4 hours ahead of time. Or have a doctor with you. And anything outside of that is an unexcused absence. I do feel like we're a little heavy on doctors' excuses right now, but I have to honor that. Okay. Please make sure you're calling the building. I got a call in text while I was on the cruise last week. What if I hadn't got that, you know? So please make sure you're actually calling the building. The charge nurse or your supervisor, whoever it may be, can handle that process. That doesn't need to go through Mel or Heather or Beth or me or whatever. Call the building. Okay. Tardies, 3 tardies in 1 pay period equals an unexcused absence. Tardy is over 5 minutes past your scheduled time. Okay. We have been watching that closer. And I think maybe we've gotten a little bit better with it, but we will continue to watch that as well. Job abandonment is when you no call, no show for 3 scheduled shifts in a row.
3.
We have people in the hospital not a car accident.
Oh, wow.
Have a heart, Mary Jo, have a heart. That's,
But you can do too, Mary Jo. Just do.
Weekend policy, you call in on the weekend, it's standard that you make it up the next weekend. It is not apples to apples, our policy does not specifically say, you call in on a Saturday, you make up a Saturday. You call in on a Sunday, you make up a Sunday. It's kind of where we need you. Okay? Sometimes we're not gonna need you, but there is that weekend policy. You ever leave the premise of this building, of these grounds, you have to clock out. If it's not having to do with work. If you're running an errand to get milk because we're out of milk, that's different. But if you're running to Quick Start on your break, you have to be clocking out. Okay.
Like if you walk in and somebody calling a staff member needs a ride.
I would say that's work related, yeah. I'm talking, yeah, we're going to Hardee's on lunch. We're running to the bank quick. Whatever it may be. But if you're running to Mercy Care to drop off a lab. Okay. Question. Anything else we need to talk about?
That's up to you.
Posting on social media. That it's a tough subject to kind of manage, but it's hard. And I'll be honest, I have not gotten on Facebook lately because it's just so nasty. But we have staff members that will post things in regards to a generic in your workplace post, okay? Just know that I can't do anything about that because it's freedom of speech. But just think a little bit when we see about how you work for a horrible company or horrible people, how that might make us feel a little bit. Because I feel like between myself, all of our department heads, Joy, Caleb, we work pretty hard to keep you guys happy. Are we always gonna have everyone happy? No, absolutely not. And I recognize that.
Somebody posted something like that.
Yeah.
And they still work here,
I can't do anything about
they need to find a new fucking job.
it. Thanks, Mary Jo.
My concern is too, is like, I don't know who else people friends with, like, if somebody
if somebody's family member lives here and they see that, like, what do they get? That was my concern too, like. Just, we're not all gonna be happy
Right.
100% of the time, but I just worry about somebody's family member that lives here sees that and thinks, well, what the
But if
heck,
you're
like,
so unhappy that you have to post something like that, people can associate me with Sunny Hill, Mary Ann with Sunny Hill, or Mary Ann with Trojan, or whatever. If you're so unhappy that you feel the need to post that, you need to not be here. Because if I was somewhere that made me that unhappy, I wouldn't go there.
And I think people don't always like think about how public that is and how that can put an impression on a bad impression to our community on what I feel like is we have a pretty darn good community. You know, we can't make you all happy all the time. I go home some days and I'm really frustrated too, and I'm, you know, at my wit's end, but I don't feel like it's at a point where I want to post about it. Even if it's a generic thing. Yeah, you agree?
We asked around,
Yeah.
you guys know this person, and I'm sorry. We're not the only ones, there's a lot of companies that look at your Facebook.
I looked at Facebook.
It's the same thing
Yeah.
about when we go and hire people in the kitchen.
I love that fire.
Mine's already.
I think you can get a feel for somebody just by looking at their Facebook,
I look at almost
you know?
look at a majority of
It's an
Facebook.
excellent thing. Colleges and everybody uses it, so why don't, you know,
So,
why not use them behind?
anything else you want to talk about?
Do you have anything you wanna talk about?
There you go. He has a tendency to like use that good handedness to like scratch at that or like, you know, put his hand on things. I'm not the only one. I said something to him yesterday, like, why are you scratching my back?
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know. I said, well, if you're gonna do that, I'm not gonna come in here and help you.
We can have to talk about that. Good information?
I didn't know that
I didn't know that either.
at all.
Oh,
Does that happen anytime?
there were things, yeah, I remember that. He had mentioned me, but Cindy and then he had.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes it more comfortable in front of us.
Especially when you get done showering somebody and then you just.
Okay.
I'm all sweaty.
Oh, maybe you're due for dependent adult abuse. You're due for your dependent adult abuse. You have to get that done by the end of the month.
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys. Hold the nurses back.
Just the nurses.
Not the baby. Yeah. just the nurses.
Are we done?
Oh, wait, we gotta draw. We have, three, right,
You ready to go, your sons?
Robin?
You win.
One or three?
Look at that butt. Look at that butt. Thanks, guys. Sherry, if you want to hang around, you can.
Annie's, but I would not.
We can do that here.
My friend's birthday party. But I might. But I'm open for the rest.
We gotta clean up our nest here.
Oh, where'd you get it?
I think she got it for our baby gift.
Don't.
But I'm gonna have to go around. I'll see a person walk up the show at the end of that. I'm going to come over that. Ready? Alright. No, I couldn't make it yesterday. Wait till your child comes. The other arm. Yeah, that's better. Hi, all. Thank you. Okay, girls.
You need to dinner. You need to dinner.
What was that?
You know, it's all the goals.
Sherry's still on here.
Middle and the backy. And so it's way out of what Jaylee's style is. And like I told Mary Jo, it's the first thing I ever sewed. So like, and Jaylee was still at my school. You ever gonna finish my clothes? So I told Mary Jo, I'll tell her that I brought it to work and me and you finish it together. So that's what I will do.
That's a bunch of shit.
Yeah, that'd be excellent. I'm gonna have to fix this expanding. Did form this meet up for me. It's so cozy. I
Oh,
could just
They
sleep.
told the psychiatrist that they've been with me for the last month.
Oh.
She told him what?
Michelle told the psychiatrist that he's only been at my house for the last month.
Michelle?
When did he come?
Beginning of the
Oh, yeah, you meant that.
She should be in jail, the unfit mother. She lies to make herself look good.
Why did this?
Not even talking, I don't know.
We're waiting for Elena. Are you in a hurry?
Is there a drink over there?
No. She's quite glad to get out of the house for a while. Oh my God.
Alright.
Kind of wore out. Well, feel better. We need to put these tables together because I hate having my back to people.
Like, I was just kind of in the background. I can come around.
In your blood.
I'll come around.
We can sit like this, I guess.
Thanks for hanging with us, Terry.
Lemonade? Mountain Dew. Oh, is that from Tuesday? It's gonna be flat, probably. This is pretty informal nursing meeting, but we have rolled out a few things that we want you to guys be aware of. More of like a question and answer session. If you guys have concerns about any policy and procedures that you want to know more about. So we just kind of jotted down something. So one of the first things, and we did get, the state on this, like Megan said, the signature on a piece of paper. So when we have, PRN medications, thinking more like Laurel, you know, your anti-anxieties, so we can only have them ordered for 14 days. So
You can have them longer, but then they have to
Yeah.
provide rationale.
Oh, that's fine.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we have to write them going forward.
That way there's no question in it.
You know, when we get new people, like when Rose came, this example, she had.
It was, and they kept changing.
The schedule ones are the outliers, but if you have a PRN one, we have to have a stop date. So if you guys are entering a new order and we need to be aware so we can get this corrected, or like put a stop date on there. Write it on the calendar, or by this date, we gotta have the medication renewed. So people that have these PRN, for one thing, are they using them every day? If they are, we need to try to get an order to get them scheduled. If they aren't using them all within the 14 days, then they'll just get it DC.
I've been putting the,
Right,
I've been putting the duration in, so that way we can't mess it up and it go past the time. Cause if anything on it and we don't have it, then we just do another order, and if it's something we have to pull out of the E-kit, most of the time, we would have. I felt like it would be easy. I just redid, Bernadine
okay.
Cam today, and I put in for 90 days. Yeah.
Bernadine got her medications DC for the PRNs. Just stopped downloading.
I have more.
No,
Yeah.
I just found another one in there and I was like, I got the pharmacy too.
There's lots
I
of
was
things.
double checking.
And you want these scanned in, you want to talk about the scanning and stuff?
The GDRs. Sometimes like Sherry Parks, if I have to send out to her or to Emily, Emily usually emails it back to me, but Sherry Parks will fax back and then you guys see them and put them in and I don't. So if you can, I made, where it says nurse progress notes, I made a thing that says GDR, so that way it's easier when she has to go back and find it. She is not looking just through all the nursing progress notes, it'll pop up GDR on the side for her to find easier. And then if you guys can just scan them, email them to me, then I'll scan them into the chart.
Just GDR, gradual dose reduction.
Okay.
It's the stuff that comes from the pharmacy. I just had a
You
bunch
might
of them
not see
today.
them since you
You
work the
probably
weekends. They
So
look different.
any labs that come across, any x-rays that come across, any progress notes, all of that stuff needs to be either put in my box or emailed it to me so I can scan it into their charts.
So if you guys are emailing stuff to Heather, I don't know if you're familiar how our
I
copy
showed
machine
Elena how to do it.
set up.
Yeah,
I've
okay.
done that before, I just didn't.
Are you having them put it in the subject?
No, they just,
Oh.
just send it to me and I'll
Oh.
figure it out. That's totally fine.
Okay, I'll write what's in the subject because I don't want it that way.
I'm totally fine with that. I'll figure it out.
And then,
I know you guys are busy too. You can just click on my name and send it and I can figure out the rest. It's totally fine.
so like if you're emailing it, then to save her time too, probably just write emailed or something, so then
I probably won't.
unless your
Get into it.
stuff is in the filing and.
You might on the weekend, if you have somebody come in and do an x-ray, if somebody has an x-ray or a fall or something, you get that report.
Or they can, or you get a veteran's note, federal, do you want to scan in if we can?
But if you're not sure, just throw it in the box.
Okay, I'm totally gonna amend the box.
Cause there ain't gonna be much on the weekend.
Oh, it's Monday morning.
Monday morning's freaking blow. The whole Monday just keeps going.
I feel like I've gotten called in to work the floor the last few Mondays. and
I
I'm like,
know.
I was totally here this Monday.
Yes,
Well, Sam and I were like,
I was here the
Yeah.
month before.
It's
like,
intense.
yes.
They called me that day. Oh,
Yeah,
my
I
gosh.
can tell when you answer the phone.
I was running.
I'll just talk to you later.
Literally running all day. And then he called twice, he was like, "You did it."
That's why with the schedule, I was like, please don't put me Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because Mondays are just hellish.
Well, if you're on a
That
Monday, almost like we definitely need to do nurse.
And you were gone.
Or
Who was
a
gone?
nurse.
I
and
was
two
there.
medics.
Tasha wasn't here to answer the phone yet.
Yes.
Mhm.
like,
You guys.
I didn't have time.
I know.
Like,
you did a good
Maddie tells me that's most- there you go.
Yeah. And then I think education with the control, these things here, I think I've talked to everybody about that, how when you get a narcotic in or anything that has a sheet, make sure you're signing it either with 2 nurses or a nurse and a med aide can sign that too. Yeah, if Linda's not here, just leave it in that, either in the NARC box, flag it, so they can sign in the morning.
Okay, so if you get an item. This right here.
Yeah,
Okay, you sign it and then leave room for, say I work the weekend. When I get here in the morning, just be like, hey, I got a paper for you to sign.
Okay. I should put just like one of those sticky notes on it.
yeah, when you're getting ready to do NARC count,
Okay.
just, yeah. The only weird thing that I've seen about those is when we're getting these million bottles, dispense things of the lorazepam and morphine. You gotta open them.
Put down how many syringes. Remember?
I hate things.
I don't mind
There's
them.
a lot of them that come all at once.
I don't mind them.
How many did we count that one time?
40.
When we're to that point.
I don't know, Bernadine just won't take it.
Well, yeah.
She does.
So just watch that. Right, so that was that. Oh, just making sure.
One of the things that came from state too is that they noticed that, a resident had complained of pain. Somebody went in and gave him something, but then he was never reassessed. So, and then so I ended up having to put the pain assessment in on every person too, because they didn't like it which I really don't understand, because if the patient isn't in pain,
Everywhere else I've worked has that.
I know. I can see it both ways. So we put those in, and then we just have to make sure, like, it was charted that they reassessed, but she was standing outside that room and nobody actually went back in and reassessed it.
Oh, so she was watching the clock.
Mhm.
I would say when you give a pain pill like that, EMAR still stays highlighted, like you need to go and follow up, and they should have relief from a pain pill. I mean, think about it when you take a pain pill.
15, 20
Mhm.
minutes, yeah.
For sure within an hour, for sure. I mean, I know like nursing home time, you're like, oh crap.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so
especially when
just,
we're busy. I get it.
yeah.
I think they were just looking for some kind of follow-up to see whether it was effective or not.
Luckily-
Because I think he had rated as
We got away with that one
9 or 10 or something.
because we had went in there for rounds.
Yeah.
So we didn't get tagged up.
Was there that day, so he had then gone in and did an assessment, if you will, on
Did he actually?
I mean,
He will,
he-
he'll talk to him and.
I was in there with him. He just thought that it wasn't chest pain because he was having the freaking heart attack. He was hernia pain or whatever, so.
Yes.
So, I mean, it was assessed, but not the way that they wanted it to be assessed. So, but we did get off of that one because we were in there. So. When I was calling slips.
Yeah.
Calling slips.
We
or
had
delayed,
a ton of call-ins this past weekend. And I think I was missing 2 call-in slips maybe.
I usually have to go get
And I showed Maddie where they were.
what I do is I go get the assignment sheets from Tasha and go through them and fill out the sheets and then mark it on my end too, because a lot of times they're not filled out. So.
I write on the sheets if they called in. But just make sure you're following through with the form too. And even tardies. Need to be, I know it gets busy, but anything that we want to make sure people are here on time.
well, in that, we found that sometimes people forget to clock in every morning. And they just happen to be here at 6 o'clock every single morning on the exact dot. So
They're actually punching
then
if they're
it's like-
not.
then it's like, actually, they were here after 6, but they wrote down 6. So if you're noticing that, like, we really need to know that. 'Cause there was a couple people we watched for a while that, because you can tell on our time cards, like I send them to Heather every week so she can look through them. You can tell on the time cards when Tasha or I input the time. It's like, oh, that person arrives at the exact same second every single morning, so.
And this might be a harsh way to look at it, but if you're doing that, that's really theft.
It really
Because
is.
You're getting paid for time that you're not here. So,
but it's in fear of, oh, well, I'm gonna be.
Well,
late
I'm gonna be
for
tardy.
Right,
Don't be late.
right.
Like, to me, it's simple. Don't be late. I don't
See
know.
what time
You're early.
I sit up there. Read my.
Right, yeah.
I'm not joking.
What else are we picking up on?
Going to start, we're trying to get our hands on a little bit more with the way state is right now is going through the 24-hour report on PCC and finding a process of checking like triple note, like kind of a triple check on orders, you know, do we need follow-ups on skins or, you know, did we have a med error or whatever it may be, and kind of tracking what we're seeing as far as, oh man, we've had 7 med errors last month. We really need to dig into why we're having so many med errors. Oh, we had 15 skin tears in a week or whatever it may be. Let's look at that process. So analyzing that a little bit more.
Do you guys know what we're talking about? I mean, when we say you can go into Point Click here and read what's happened 72 hours ago. Okay, do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. I'll show Sherry too. I'll share my screen.
Sharing your lead. Like, I often access that on the weekends, unfortunately, every day. But then I'll take notes, so when I come in Monday morning, yeah.
When you come on Monday.
I don't wanna
you
come
are
in
gonna
Monday and
on
be
the
like,
weekend,
oh
and
my
you're gonna kinda look and be like, oh my gosh, all this stuff happened.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and you don't wanna show up to morning meeting and not know what's going on in your
Mhm.
building.
it does have a lot of stuff on there, like, whose has the most on there? Lisa, because she takes PRNs, anybody that takes PRN. Be like that long.
So if you log in and you go to reports, you can go down here. It's called the 24-hour summary.
Once you click on it, it'll be at the top of your page.
Run report, and you can choose like the last,
Just run it, that'll be good for.
it'll be the
everybody,
last
'cause people have-
24 hours, but you could do last 8 hours, last 24 hours, last 72 hours.
It would be good for charting, that way you know who comes off.
Yep, and then you just hit run report and it comes up. It'll,
You guys are putting too, when we're putting people on hot charts, if you're putting the end date, the start and the end date, like on the antibiotic or
Yes,
whatever, that's
please.
gonna help people too.
We had to go through and.
I'll
settle
tell you,
it
like,
today.
I did.
any admissions, discharges, anyone in the hospital. And then it'll go through every single, and it'll tell you anything that went on. So, yeah, you can read through.
There's lots of things on the Point Click here. We're doing all of our skins, falls on there, everybody's getting good on that. Make sure when you are doing a fall or a skin that you have an intervention somewhere in
Type it in
there. You can write intervention and then write what it is. I can write whatever you think is appropriate. I,
Sticks, I didn't put my intervention for Miss Bernadine, well, Beth's intervention, the Jerry sleeps, the
and
thick ones.
you can add, did you sign on it yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a little ditty.
Yeah,
Actually, I already did. I made a little ditty, I think.
you don't, I mean, you can,
I'll try.
there's a place for me to sign, Megan, and then the RN.
I have concerns with charting sometimes. I feel like the charter is very. I think we need to beef it up because, I mean, we were all taught in nursing school, you didn't chart, you didn't do it. You know, when we're calling the pharmacy because we're not getting meds, we need to chart that. Those were things we were asked about during state too. So we just need to chart every single thing we're doing, every conversation we have with family, and that's kind of a pain in the butt, but it also covers our butts.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes like I came back here from hospital
And hospice where you only are charting with exceptions, you're only, and then back to where you're like doing your novels, so it took me a while to get used to doing that again too. So at the hospital, you just click the abnormals, everything else you just leave it, so.
Mhm.
And I know they were trying to change that, but I don't feel like that rolls over into a nursing home setting very well. So,
No, because you have so much communication with
Mhm.
doctor, family and
At home and in the
resident.
hospital.
and I think nursing school is so hospital-based as a hospital nurse anyways, so. I really realized that when I went
Yeah,
back.
definitely when families call, even when they come in and visit, I know Bernadine Shet's daughter comes a lot. And if you are having an interaction with her, chart it to say updated on current condition. That's all you need to chart.
Do you want me to put that every day?
I
She
would,
calls every day.
I would.
Yeah, sometimes 10 o'clock at night.
It makes us look awesome.
Mhm.
And you should take credit for that, because that one time we don't call and say something happens, say it's gonna be like, well, why didn't you
Yeah.
update the family? It doesn't, even if we've charted every day. I mean, I know she calls a lot. Yeah, and she'll come, and then she'll call again, because that one day
It's like a
I worked and
contract.
she's like, is this Melanie? Weren't you here? Weren't you here this morning? I'm like, yeah. So I charted it, even though I talked to her twice, but yeah, just take credit for that.
I would like personally to see if we have a hospice patient that's got a big change in their condition, like we saw with Betty Altmeyer. I created a hospice assessment that you guys can do. It's just a check charting. It's like skilled, that's hospice only. So if we see that they're having a big decline, that will just give us more information because
Where's that?
it's in the same place you go to get your skilled charting
Under assessment.
Yeah.
Mr.
Larry's doing.
Larry's changing a little bit.
I can't remember anything.
the hospice.
Mm.
It has been for a while.
And we can modify that assessment and just make it like a comfort care assessment if somebody's just, but we want to make sure that we're getting all the information in there when they're having those condition changes, because we're not great about, we'll go 2 or 3 days and to us, it's their norm, but it's not normal. So I agree that we just need to beef it up a little bit.
I know it's hard, especially when you're busy. I get it. I literally, when I work the floor, I don't know if anybody, you might notice all my notes that I have everywhere. Like I literally just write stuff and then when I have time and I get to it, I cross it off as I go because it's so much. And if it's like stuff that I need to chart on, but I'm busy doing something else, I'll write that and I'll write the time so that way I can go back and put it in at that time and chart it. It's the only way I can get through the day and try to get everything done.
Oh, I think you're looking for Mary Jo. I can have her
And
return your call.
When you're doing scans, are you having the bath aide come get you and check them while they're in the shower? Because I have it changed now so that on their skin day, it's their bath day. So that makes it easier for you guys on the floor. And I go give them a list of, okay, call me when you're done with these people and I'll come in and check them. Okay, because the last couple times I've done that, they're all shocked and wondering why I was in there checking their skin and says nobody ever does. So I was just like, wanted to ask.
Sometimes I put you in the room before.
I just didn't
Like
feel
when they're
like I
getting
felt like it
ready.
was
So
easier
with
while they're
Kathy, it's
naked.
easier to look at her in bed.
Yeah.
The remote fall out of her.
Not again. Didn't really fall out last time. It got wet and they realized there was something hard under her fold. She hid her remote in the fold.
You guys got
During the shower.
Mm.
Hey, that inner dry worked amazing. That yoga. It looks. I think the concentration was just making it moist and nasty. The other thing was that the aides were complaining about nurses getting on the radio, asking for people to be taken to their rooms when they think that you guys aren't busy. It's the only way I can think of to put it. So if you're not busy, please give them a ride to their room instead of asking the aides to do it.
what do you guys like? So this weekend we had some issues with the aides. That even just some issues this weekend. So I want to know
They're sassy as hell lately.
what are you guys doing in the morning? First of all, the night shift is complaining that, they're ready to come in. Pretty much a lot of the people that come in the morning, not the nurses. I think the nurses are good at morning plates, but the aides come in with such attitudes. So I don't want them standing around at the nurse's station bitching and moaning. I mean, I've been coming in early this week, before 7, and it's totally like chaotic. Are they standing around?
In the morning, like after they get here.
Day. Depends on who's on the floor together.
See, and they don't do that when I pick up and I'm on the floor.
But that's also when whoever's the charge nurse needs to say, all right, let's do this, girls.
What are you seeing, Laura? You're getting ready to leave. I mean, you're here for maybe a little bit more, like 10, 15 minutes. What are
They
you
come
seeing?
in, they go to the back room. I need to do my hair. I need a cup of coffee. Oh, I forgot this. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Do they go back out to their car and get stuff or what?
Not for a while, but not
Okay.
usually, but I hear all kinds of crazy. It's like, I haven't brushed my hair today. Yeah. Okay. I don't care.
Is it the same people?
You know,
Um,
and it's like, good, I'm leaving. I don't feel.
Are they doing rounds with the night aides?
That's what's irritating the night.
The night you
Because
have
the
to
night
beg
you're
them is what
standing
I've
there
been
and
told.
waiting
Yeah,
and
like,
waiting.
come on, can we go do rounds? Let's go. That's what I've been told.
We wanna go home too.
Yeah.
Come
Well, of
on,
course
let's
you do.
this.
You guys,
And
most of
like,
you have been here for 12 hours.
Then they wait till like 10 after for some of them to come in.
And 10 minutes is a resident out of bed. A lot of time wasted, I think. I would just really, you guys, it's how you approach the aides. I don't like them all hovering around the nurse's station throughout the shift.
I've told them, I'm like, hey, I have to yell at you. I don't wanna yell at you. Go away.
You guys are busy and you need to chart, and I don't know how you do it with everybody standing around. What I told them in that meeting is that they need to be doing constant rounds. So just say, hey, go do your rounds, go down your hall,
There's a chair down every hall.
stay out of the nurse's station. It is terrible.
We stay up all the time and we don't get anywhere.
We
with it,
don't.
And and there's all this pushback and attitude and, oh, well, we're working short. No, you're not. You're not short.
Then why are you at
actually.
the nurse's station?
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know how else to approach it because there's always attitude, there's always pushback. They've always got something negative to say. No matter, I feel like we've approached it so many different ways and no matter what we do, it's
It's just like an old habit. I mean, one time I went out there. It's like somebody was sitting by the sink and sitting on the counter. And I'm like, get to work, you guys. What are you doing? It's just so disgusting to me. So you have my permission to don't yell at them, but tell them, get to work.
Constant rounding.
If
Make rounds.
you got the same people that are back there sitting in, that's your guys' chairs. I seen Bailey sitting out there in one of them this week. I was like, oh, geez, that's kind of a delicate situation there. But that's your guys, yeah, that's your guys' area where you take phone calls, where we come and we have to come out and use the copier machine now and get copies. And I'm constantly like, get out of the effing way. Like one day I was like, get out of the way, you guys. Every time I come back there, it's like weaving in and out of traffic.
We have their break room is back there. We could come up with a better.
Mary Jo said she's working on a gallery kitchen.
but they're not all
Or
supposed to
in
be
here?
done at the same time.
Well,
That
that's true.
happens all the time. You'll open up the door to get ice or do something, there's like 3 or 4 of them standing
Yeah,
in there. I'm like, what are
like,
you guys doing?
I need ice. Move along. Just
We want to know if it's a habit.
certain people. We need. I mean, I don't know that writing people up all the time is the right thing, but if there's certain people that just are constant.
It takes one person to run everybody else's day, and we have seen that.
Yeah.
But
We don't want that.
necessarily writing them up, but at least having the
A
conversation
conversation,
with them.
yeah,
Yeah.
we need to have a
Saying,
conversation.
you can't retaliate against the nurses. That is their job to make sure that you're doing what you need to do. So if we need to have conversations with certain ones, we will do that.
Mhm.
You guys don't need to do, you guys have enough else going on.
And there has been some conversations already.
Yeah.
We know. Well, I know.
Oh, I'm sure you guys
Oh,
do know
yeah.
because they come out
Everybody knows
right away and says,
the drama
Yeah.
that this
These are the.
building produces sometimes is.
Day shift.
Monday, I was like,
I was wearing it
Whoa.
all day. I was like.
I missed all the drama.
dump that on me.
All right.
If somebody comes in with a bad attitude and it's gonna create a bad environment, you can send them home.
As I say, I'm tempted to send them ones home that are the ones doing it all the time because you know what? And in the long end, the long run, the girls might rather want to work short than dealing with that.
And if you make it about, they're gonna be a day pay short, maybe the next day they'll have a better attitude coming in. Cause if they're having that attitude with you guys, can you imagine how they're acting behind doors to the residents?
And the residents have complained about it.
Yeah, there's lots of talk going on that's inappropriate.
Talking about sex lives in front of residents, dates, other employees.
I had a resident tell me that my husband's dying. And, Janet,
Oh, would you talk to her when she comes out at night about him?
only if she asks,
Okay.
I'll say, no, he's not dying. He's got Parkinson's. He's okay. He's gonna be fine.
Mhm.
He has his days. And I
He's
did
got
not
no
know.
filter.
Well, she thinks I'm gonna stop.
But, he says, oh, they told me you missed work that day and they said you were with your husband at the hospital because he was dying. I go, well, he didn't die. He was sick.
That's something I'm focusing on these next couple weeks. It's how we're talking and acting,
That could be it.
talking and acting in front of our residents. It's on my list.
Christine wise, you guys got any?
Sherry, you got anything?
concerns? You and Sherry are here 3 days a week. Sometimes Sherry's here 4. Lori, you're here every weekend.
Anything you guys are frustrated about or that we can address, make better for you guys?
I really like having 2 nurses on Monday,
Yeah, I know.
so you know.
And when we come in on Monday, we're sometimes cleaning them. You know,
There's a lot of stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah.
yeah.
I know.
But I try to get myself too, but especially on Mondays.
Yeah, if there's faxes, I'm like, oh. Those are intense.
Yeah, thanks Sherry and Sam for the weekend faxes that I got on Monday.
Yeah.
Just a stack of them.
It was terrible. Well, we had all them falls like.
Those were Monday.
There's just 2 on Monday.
3, well, 2 for you.
For me, 1 later.
We are gonna, I'm trying to look at our falls. We're having way too many. So
16.
started doing a little root cause on just not finding any like consistent, like it's a consistent.
Well, except
So-
move into a closer freaking room.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
a fantastic idea. He loved it too.
I hope that worked.
I hope Jim does it.
He's on PT and OT now. Jerry is.
Kaylee did rounds this morning, he was starting moving, Kaylee's like, oh, what are you watching? He goes, well, it's a porno.
Jerry said that?
You say the weirdest thing. His daughter told me he wants to buy Sam. She has an engagement ring. I said, I'm pretty sure she's married. And she goes, he does not
He
care.
was trying to get like, he asked me out on the date one night too, and not when we were alone.
Yeah, I told her that
Florida?
they're very young girls and she says,
What
yeah,
did he
sign
say
up.
about
That's how dirty my
listening
pocket
to
is.
his heart?
Oh, yeah, and then Kaylee put her stethoscope on and he goes, oh, my heart rate just increased since you touched me.
Oh my.
Never hear him talk like that.
I'm glad I'm old.
The do not disturb like two of our other residents have.
I don't think he does
They
that.
try.
He's just
Say
flirty.
naughty things.
He's flirty.
Julie's face definitely turned red, she said.
19-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, move Jerry to be closer. Maybe he won't fall anymore.
I do. And he's closer to Richard. They like to hang out too.
Well, and this way the closet is not on the same side of the room as him, so he won't be standing in front of the closet changing his.
Well, and that, there's more. It's a busier area.
Yeah.
So we can see him
Mm-hmm.
and we won't be able to see Jim behind the door.
I think that's fine. Jim won't be able to see us behind the door either.
Good idea.
Oh, crap.
Anytime I try to go to the bathroom, hey,
Yeah, like I have got to be mad.
going down.
Yeah, I know. When I'm going,
all
when I'm
day.
going down North Hall and somebody tries to stop me, I'm like, okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Sherry, for hanging with us.
I gotta finish this one. Keep chatting.
Yeah, do you have it so they can type?
They can if they want, but
No,
she must not like us, so.
you must not.
Oh, she left.
You may have guessed correctly then.
At least I know